Hi, sweethearts. How are you? This is one of two videos that will drop tonight. So I hope you have, I guess, what is it, like my page or whatever, sign up for notifications. I don't know. Whatever you need to do to make sure that you get the videos. Okay, so this video is basically an add-on, or it is additional information about the central idea video that you watched the very first time you took notes, which was maybe what 3 4 weeks ago. So we're just going to recap a few ideas. If you do not have these ideas jotted down in your book, if I were you, I will make sure that I have them, especially before you come to class on tomorrow. You know me, I may go around and look and give a grade for it. All right, so we're talking about central idea. Oh, so you're just not going to work for me. There we go. So central idea review. So the central idea, also known as the main idea, some people call it the governing thought. It's just the central idea is the writer's message. So you're asking yourself, what is the message that the writer is trying to tell me? Um, in order to have a message, you must first have a topic. A topic is the subject. A subject is a noun. It is going to answer who or what is this writing talking about. So in your writing or your reading for tonight, back from war, but not really home, well, you need to ask yourself, who or what is this passage talking about? And if you have annotated, you should have some idea that this is talking about veterans, right? Now, what is being said about the veterans, the vets? That is what you're going to try to figure out. What is the author saying about vets? Okay, so the central idea is the most important idea in the paragraph or that long piece of work. Long piece of work, what I means like the entire text. So what is the most important idea that is being stated about this subject? Remember, the main idea or the central idea is the point that the author is making about the topic, not the topic itself, but it's the point that the author is making about the topic. How do we determine what is being said about the topic? That is when we go back to our notes on details, and we know that we need to determine a major detail from a minor detail, and our minor details will point us back to the major detail, and our major detail will point us up to the central idea or the topic. So you need to go through your writing today. Even if you want to annotate, you take a yellow color pencil and you just go through and you shade all of your major details, and these are details that are supporting supporting the topic, the main idea, the central idea, what's being said. Your central idea must be expressed as a sentence, and it must be a complete thoughts. Remember, I'm taking off for fragments. All right. So, your summary, this is what you're going to do tomorrow. If you want to try to push yourself and try to create a summary today and turn it in tomorrow, of course, I will give you credit for doing that because you went above and beyond. And guess what? If you go above and you go beyond, you will be rewarded because you are practicing growth mindset. So, your summary must have the following. You must have a topic sentence. So how do we come up with our topic sentence? Well, you're going to name it, of course. You need to identify the title of the text and the author. You must name it. Who wrote this piece? What is the name of the piece? And then you're going to use one of our summary verbs, and I'm going to show you a template that we will be using tomorrow. A summary verb is an action verb, and it is pertaining to uh, writing. Does the author explain, discuss, explores? And we would elaborate on that just a little bit tomorrow. If you have any questions, go ahead and jot it down and we'll talk about it tomorrow. You must communicate the author's central idea. Again, what do we say central idea is? It is the point that the author is making about the subject. Step 2, you need to gather key ideas. Well, what do we call that? Major details. So pick 2 major details from the beginning, the middle, and the end of the text. That is 6 total. Excuse me. That is 6 total, to show how the author develops. And what did we talk about develop? We said develop is how something grows. So how is he growing the central idea? How does it change? How does he expand on it or expound on it? And you're going to use your own words. Own words. Step 3, you're going to have a concluding sentence. You're going to wrap up your objective summary. So I'm going to show you your template. If you have Google Classroom notifications, then you've already saw this. This is the template that you guys will be using. So you're going to, for example, in our text tonight, it is a news article, right? So in the, well, what type of text is this? Guess what? You just scroll down and you say, is this an essay? No. Is it an editorial? No. If you don't know what an editorial is, then editorial is, guess what? That means we have room to add that word into our dictionary in the back, or our our vocabulary section, and then we're going to look it up. Is it an article? Is it a research paper? Well, we know that this is an article. Then we're going to go up. Well, what is the title of the text? The title of the text is Back from Home, Back from War, but Not Really Home. Then what is the author's full name? Now you're going to write Carolyn Alexander, right? And then we talked about academic verb. Academic verb, part B, right here. The precise verb. What is she doing? Is she discussing? Is she addressing something? Is she disputing something? If you know the text structure, then you could easily determine which verb that you can use. So then what is the topic she's discussing? Just the topic or the issue of the topic. So that's the who or the what. And this is when you start this is where you start explaining what is the author's, sorry about that, what is the author's belief of that topic, the issue? What is her purpose for writing this piece? What is the central idea? Now, all of this together is 2 sentences. 2 sentences. It's 2 sentences. Now, you're going to continue your summary by including the author's main points or events or ideas that support the issue written above. What do we call this? Support. What do we use to support? That's right. Major details. Now, you could do one major, one minor, one major, one minor. Maybe. We'll talk about that. Here's your concluding sentence. Ultimately, you got your transitional word. What? And then you're going to tell me the author's last name is trying to convey through her. You're going to tell me the text type is. You are going to rephrase that main point, that main idea, that central idea that you put up here. Okay? Okay. Seems like a lot. You have access to this. I put it in your Google Classroom. All right. So I need you all to get a new sheet, and we're going to talk about character development. So flip over. Let's talk about character development very quickly. Character development, or advancing the plot. So by now, you should know the different types of characters, and you should know how to use the STILL method to analyze characters. Let's talk about their development and how they develop the plot. So your learning target is I can analyze how the characters' motivations, interactions, and conflicts advances the plot or theme. let's recap very quickly. Here are your definitions. We know motivation is the drive. It is that thing that pushes the character to think and behave or act in a certain way. The motivation is the why behind the action. Interaction, we know that is how they communicate or come into direct involvement with someone or something. Conflict. Y'all know what this is. It's the drama, it's the issues, it's the opposition that the person or a force is facing. It's that what is the negativity that is being brought into that character's life. And we need drama so that we can have a story. No drama, no story. Think about your life. No drama, no growth. All right, so plot. We know it's the basic sequences of events in a story. It's the events in the story. All right. So this is something new. I want you to go ahead and pause right here. Write this down because we're talking about external. Remember, we talked about internal, external conflict. So you should know that external has to do with something that happens outwardly. So external, an outward response. It helps to drive the story, the plot, by adding actions and events to the story. This is what drives the story. This is what helps to create events. External responses or reactions demonstrated by the character. And we're talking about our complex character through speech and action. We're looking at our characters that are like us. External responses, it's all about the plot. It's all about the events that take place and the character reacts to the events, okay? Internal response. Oh, you guys may be wondering. This is um Cowardly Dog. It's a show that I grew up with, so he was always into some drama. So external response, we talked about that. Let's talk about internal response. Internal response is demonstrated. It is the response, it's the reaction demonstrated through someone's feelings. So it's the reactions from the inside. No one can see it. It happens in our thoughts. It happens in our feelings. Um, This is about the character and their thoughts, how they feel about the event that happened in the story. It answers the question why. It helps us to understand their motivation. So if we can understand why the character did what they did, or why do they feel the way that they feel, then we can understand why the event occurred, if that makes sense to you. We'll talk about that in depth tomorrow. Go ahead and do this T-chart in your booklet because this is what we're going to be using when we start reading the Odyssey. All right, so this is something that I want you to just think of, take a picture, draw it in your books. The plot shapes the characters, and the characters shape the plot. The plot shapes characters, and characters shapes plot. So all of these things are connected. The interactions, the events, the conflicts, the motivation. The motivation can influence the conflict. Conflict can uh, create an event. Interactions can create an event. Interactions can be created by motivation. All right. So you got to look at connections. Look at connections. The character reacts, and please remember this, that the character reacts to external events, which in turn causes them to have an internal feeling or thought, which from there creates motivation from within the character, which causes another external event. Here's another chart that we're going to be using characters, motivation, and then you're going to be thinking about the possible resulting conflicts. All right, you guys, that's it. Talk to you later.